this is gonna be a weird one to review. It's not because it's bad or anything like that. It's not. This movie's freaking amazing. But it's more because this is not a traditional movie in the sense of usual full-length feature films. For one reason, and one reason only. It does not have a story. It is one of those movies, just like My Neighbors the Yamadas, that is more about the characters and their interactions and the world building, rather than one single focused, overarching narrative. Now, with Yamadas, it was a huge problem because that movie was just a bunch of vignettes that were stringed together by a very, very loose excuse of a plot. With Arrietty, it actually works to its benefit because I've said it before and I'll say it again, some of the best movies in Ghibli's catalog are just pure creative simplicity. And this is no different. What's also interesting to note about this one is that it is one of the only Studio Ghibli movies to have more than one English dub. And it's more than one English dub that is actually in a decent wide release. So it's not like a certain other movie we talked about where it had a terrible first dub and then the second dub was much better. I forget which Ghibli movie it was, but it was one of them that we talked about. So let's talk about Arrietty and why I think it is a truly wonderful animated movie, despite having no plot. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your sensation, which is your fan theme of the mission, including TV, movies, and especially anime. I'm your host and local anime fan, Jackson Small. Welcome back to Ghibli Month. Ghibli, whatever. Welcome back to Ghibli Month. Welcome to my review of The Secret World of Arrietty. A better epic than epic. I don't know what else to say. Here's my written review. It's formatted a lot differently this time than usual, but I hope you still enjoy. Here we go. Let's talk about it. One of the more intriguing entries, not just for being similar to Blue Sky's epic, but also for being one of the only Ghibli movies to have two different English dubs, with a US one by Disney, fresh off the heels of Ponyo, and a UK version by Studio Canal. Yes, that Studio Canal, the one that literally just released Stephen King's adaptation of The Life of Chuck. A movie I still need to see, that I've heard great things about. Then you add that this is yet another very well-known movie, and I was more than curious to check it out. And I'm happy to say that regardless of which dub you're watching, yes, I watched this movie twice because I wanted to see how each dub stacked up against each other, this is a beautiful film both visually and metaphorically. I'm going to get this out of the way straight up front, though. There's not really much of a story here, which is this movie's big problem. Rather than being a traditional focused narrative like most movies, this is more of a laid-back slice-of-life tale that puts more focus on development of the world building and how all the characters interact off one another, especially the way that these human characters interact off of the borrowers. It's by no means a bad thing, and it's a refreshing change of pace from most of Ghibli's previous works. But at the same time, a lot like, again, My Neighbors the Yamadas, it really could have benefited from having some kind of overarching narrative on top of that. Especially when some of the background characters are sadly very underdeveloped in favor of the main ones, despite they themselves being fascinating in their own ways. Like, all the characters in this movie are fascinating, but unfortunately some of the most fascinating ones, because of background characters, do not get enough development to really make them feel essential to the story. Well, not to the story, to the movie and the world. It just needs some more, they just need more development. Where was I? I lost my spot, forgive my haste. With that being said, though, it's genuinely fantastic world building that does a great job at immersing the audience into its world of these 4-inch tall borrowers, and, a lot like Nausicaa, has this distinct sense of wondrous intrigue that just can't be forgotten even after watching it. Like, even now, just thinking about it, it's a movie that still intrigues me, because it's a movie that I wish I got to see more of. And like I said before, the voice cast here is genuinely fantastic all across the board. It's Ghibli, of course it's going to be. From the US version, you have the likes of Bridget Mendler, Amy Poehler, in one of the only roles where she's not an annoying pain in the ass. Another former Caped Crusader in Lego Batman, Will Arnett, Carol Burnett, Gracie Paletti, Moses Arias, and David Henry. Then from the UK version, you have, apologies if I mispronounce your name, Saoirse Ronan, Olivia Colman, Geraldine McEwen, Philidia Law, Luke Allen Gale, Ray Gillen, Mark Strong, and even the MCU's current webhead, Tom Holland. Yes, MCU Spider-Man is in this movie. Both casts are stacked and only make the movie even more wonderful thanks to their excellent performances. Whether you're watching the Disney dub or the Canal dub, both of them have their positives over the other. And both are great. They both do a great job with the characters and translating the Japanese dialogue. Then you add some of Ghibli's most beautiful animation, especially the painting-like backgrounds, superb pacing, delightful, unforgettable characters, a well-delivered message about friendship and family, and very high rewatchability, and you have another amazing entry from the studio and a very strong follow-up to Ponyo. It is more than worth your time. It may not have a story, but everything else around it more than makes up for it. And that's why its final verdict is our second 9 out of 10 in a row. It's a really good movie, man. I don't know what else you want me to say. Sure, it has no story and no plot, but the characters, the animation, and the world building are more than enough to make this worth your time. It's a delightful movie, and I highly recommend checking it out. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to finish editing all these videos so I can get some sleep, because unfortunately I'm heading out of town tomorrow. But tomorrow should be an easy day, because it's only one review, and it is another movie. But it's another movie from Goro Miyazaki. Be better than Earthsea and I'll be nice. See you next time for From Up on Poppy Hill.
Excited for what comes up ahead. Patient run. Can you make my wish come true? I want some more.